Welcome everyone to another weekly video at the Wine Steward Mezzanine, which you were up here in person to share this wonderful glass of wine with me, but please hear a thing or two and maybe you'll be inspired to dash in or go curbside to pick some up and take some home and enjoy it more safely perhaps. At any rate, thank you for being with us for another week, and we have a main topic of telling you about next week's event. We are going to talk a little bit more about the 5 reds that will be in the Whoa Zoom event next Tuesday night. And we still have many samplers, 5 bottle samplers available. We would like to get another at least dozen signed up for this. I promise you very good wine. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But first, since that's going to emphasize red wine, let's tell you about a couple other things happening here at the Wine Steward. First of all, just to remind you that once again, the Main Street will be closed for the weekend, starting Friday afternoon all the way into Sunday evening. So once again, for those of you who would like to continue to safely pick up your orders curbside by working on the winesteward.com, doing your buying on there, and picking up curbside, the new curbside during that weekend is the back door. So just double park in the back parking lot, give us a call, we'll set you up. You already knew that, you're well trained, but just wanted to remind you that this will be yet another street closure coming up. Thank you for finding a way to work with us. Now let's get right into some wine, and what's pretty exciting for me is whatever just came in the back door. I'm often most enthusiastic about a wine I tried maybe a couple days ago and has just come in via a delivery van, and we're setting it up right now. All the clanking you hear downstairs is in fact Eric setting up a big stack of a brand new Albarino. Here it is right here. Rather interesting name, Paso da Bucina Albarino. And Albarino's homeland and source of probably the world's best Albarino is Galicia, Spain, right on the Atlantic coast, just above Portugal. And that is in fact where this one comes from, this Paso da Bucina. This is where words in the Gallego form of Spanish start to look at just a little bit of Portuguese in their spelling. So I have to be careful when I look at these words and try to say them. At any rate, this is a brand new 2019, and it's nice to have a 19 on the shelf now. We are still faithfully representing the Fia Boa Albarino. You guys have been buying the heck out of that, but what is a wine shop with just one Albarino? We should always have at least 2. So welcome to this new 2019. Let's check it out. Albarino is the name of the grape, and it is probably Spain's best known white grape now for the American consumer. There are others, of course, but Albarino it's become so popular because it's lively and fresh, and it's perfect for warmer days like we're having right now. So let's see how this 19 is doing. It has wham, crazy bam, spank you very much acidity happening into the nose. It is straightening out my nostril hairs. Whoa. It's got apricot and maybe white nectarine and certainly a lot of lime and maybe even white pepper going on right now. And those are all the signs, or at least the white pepper part and the lime, of a very young Albarino. So what's nice about this 19 is I plan to be observing it for the next year and a half, to be able to carry this wine for a good long time. Since it's just come in, it's showing its youngest attitude right now, of course, and it's going to round out a little bit, I'm sure. But right now, I love the anxiety I'm getting out of the nose. Anxious wines, I like those. And the mouth follows. It is lean, refreshing, and even though it's quite zingy at the front, in the mouth, in the middle of the mouth, you start to get a really delicious fleshiness. And the wine never saw any barrels at all. Typically, Albarino doesn't need a barrel. However, it did spend, I believe, 3 months on its lees. Those are the expired yeast cells, and you can either move your wine and winemaking off of the lees or leave the lees at the bottom of the tank, because they impart a little bit of flavor and texture to a white wine like this. And in fact, if you want to, you can stir those lees once in a while, and that's called bâtonnage. You can take a bâton, a stick, and stir those lees back up into the wine on a certain periodic basis, and that will further enrich white wine that never got enriched by barrel. This was only sur lees, I believe, never any bâtonnage being performed, and it's saying so with its very lean, delightfully refreshing say ah effect. Really nice. So check out our new Albarino. It's nice that we have two at this time. Let's bring you another wine that is called Sancerre, and I'm almost certain that you've heard of Sancerre, right? But did you know that Sancerre comes in this color? And I hope it's showing up all right on the camera. Not just the orange wall behind me doing this. This is in fact a pink Sancerre. So most of you know that Sancerre as a white wine is 100% Sauvignon Blanc, has to be by local wine law. But when you get wine from Sancerre and it happens to be pink, it needs to be 100% what? Pinot Noir. So this is Pinot Noir Rosé, grown in extremely minerally soils, and that is in fact the effect when you have this wine. It's a rosé that has beautiful strawberry fruit, but its main effect, rather than flavor, its effect is a very dynamic, almost like a rock licking effect, where you can imagine the gravel and the flint and the limestone, which occurs really heavily here in Sancerre. And we don't necessarily talk about the fruit of Sancerre first. That's kind of a side note. We're always emphasizing how minerally a Sancerre is, and that's a very refreshing effect when you have a hot day. So check out this new one. Sancerre Rosé has gotten extremely popular in Paris, and so by the time they get over here, they're going to be automatically over $20 wines. There's Sancerre Rosés that go over $30 now. This is one of the more effectively priced ones that just nudges over 20. And with your wine club discount, I think we're getting it maybe a little under. So anyway, check it out. Brand new for us. Sancerre Rosé. Now let's get to the main topic and tell you about this event that we're doing next week. We've already emailed you a couple of times about it, but this is just a raise the flag one more time to say, let's get some more people signed up for this really cool event. Maybe we will by elaborating on it a little bit today. We want to also say that the event has a alternative product. So when you go onto thewinesteward.com, you'll see the event as a product. The event is basically represented by 5 bottles of red wine. So you purchase that product in order to play. And right next to that item on the website is a food pack that we have designed to go along. So let's start off by telling you what's in the food pack this time around. 2 different cheeses, and we'd like to do a soft cheese next to a hard cheese just to give you different textures. So this cheese tastes and feels almost exactly like it looks. It's a beautiful pillow of cheese love going on here. This is from the Lombardia region of Italy. It's called Bergamino di Bufala. Bufala sounds like buffalo, doesn't it? Well, in fact, it's made of 100% buffalo milk, not cow's milk. Buffalo milk has a lot more milk fat in it, like 10%, and it's a very rich cheese. The flavors are actually discrete. What this cheese is all about is texture. It's just super yummy. So that's one of the cheeses in there. And the other is called Ossau Iraty. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't speak Basque and certainly not French Basque, but this gorgeous cheese comes from the French side of the Pyrenees, made by Basque people. And it is, as you can see, it's a harder cheese. It's about the texture of a manchego, but a little more exotic in that it's not called manchego. I mean, we've all had that. Let's try something new. Let's try a Wau cheese, Ossau Iraty. It's got a delicious nutty quality to it. So along with those 2 items, we're gonna throw in a bag of Torres potato chips from Barcelona, Spain. And instead of the truffle chips that you've all grown to love, we're gonna do the Mediterranean herb cheeses. So it's kind of like an herbs de Provence effect on potato chips, really good. And finally, actually not finally, but we should mention that Rustic Bakery crackers will be playing in your pack. And finally, we're gonna throw in Lomo. Lomo embuchado is dry cured pork loin. This is actually done in the United States, but it's Spain inspired. It's done by Spanish people down in the Los Angeles area. And it is something that we've been selling for years here at the Wine Steward. I'm always concerned that everybody knows about jamón serrano and might not know about this other wonderful Spanish product, Lomo embuchado, which deserves to be known. We're going to ask that when you do open this up, that you let it warm up a little bit at pre-event so that you're eating it at room temperature. That's when all of a sudden the flavors of this product really come out, and the texture is softened too. So it's very temperature sensitive, be aware. Now, we told you that this event has wine in it. After all, this is the Wine Steward, so maybe we should talk about those. Let's just first say something about logistics. Yes, this pack has 5 bottles. It's a 5-bottle commitment to play. And yet, if it's just 1 or 2 of you at home, you're probably trying to figure out how that's going to work. Like, am I really going to have to open all 5 bottles? Are they going to go to waste? I have chosen wines that I think are going to last pretty well for the next 2 to 3 days post-event. Besides that, you might want to have somebody else in your backyard with you, and safely distanced little groups are getting together these days. So it's entirely up to you, but we do know of people who've already gone in on this, that they're going to have maybe a tiny group in the backyard and be saying, here's the next one, and you got to walk over to it. But we're all figuring out the logistics of how to have a little society nowadays, and I'm sure you can share these bottles with a few other people. Maybe pour over your neighbor's fence into a waiting glass over there. So, figure it out. 5 bottles, and you don't have to open all 5. So what you do get to enjoy from the event is yours truly telling you, elaborating on these 5 different wines that I love. You might be worried about, well, I've never heard of it. Am I into that variety? I believe that any of you adventurous wine lovers out there will love all 5 of these wines. Maybe some people who drink nothing but one wine type will be challenged. I think challenge is a good thing for wine love. But knowing you, Wine Steward customers, you are going to be up for this. So let's just go through this right quick. Obviously, we're going to be elaborating during the Zoom event. We don't want to steal its thunder. But wine number 1 will be from the Russian River and Sonoma area. It's called Kalin's Big Boy. That's the nickname for this wine. And it is from a winery called Eric Kent. This is a whoa wine because it's got a feel-good story in that we're helping somebody out here. All the wineries, all businesses, in fact, are impacted quite a bit economically right now. But this already took it on the chin. This producer, a couple of years ago, when the bad Sonoma fire was ripping through his neighborhood, they had to get out of that neighborhood fast and abandon their house and their winery. And in fact, there was such a bottleneck of cars trying to get out of the neighborhood, they had to abandon their car. Their car burned up, the truck back at the winery went, the winery office, their house full of a lot of the artwork that's used on the labels. Eric Kent is known for putting a different, distinctive piece of small production art on each label. So whenever you see Eric Kent Chardonnay, it won't look anything like this. So this label is distinctive to this. So we're helping these guys out a little bit. We hope you will too by supporting this wine. They're giving us a hand by giving us a lower cost than usual. So this wine usually over 40 bucks. We're lower, and we're gonna give all participants an even better discount on their orders if they wanna order some more of this after the event. So Kalin's Big Boy Syrah, delicious, dark, rich, savory Syrah. You might wanna buy some more bottles and save them for winter feasting. I think it's a wine that makes a lot of sense at that time of the year. This next wine is one that we told you about last week because it's also in our Tuesday night. No, it's in our Wine Adventure Wine Club. This is a Gamay, 100% Gamay grape from Beaujolais. And it's not just Beaujolais, but it's Cru Beaujolais, which means it comes from a better neighborhood within the Beaujolais region. So that neighborhood is called Saint-Amour. It's a Beaujolais neighborhood we don't often get to see here in the United States. In fact, we've only carried one other one in all of our 20 years. More often we carry Moulin Avant or Morgon or Fleury. Saint-Amour sounds cool, but this is also delicious wine, 100% Gamay. Acts a little bit like Pinot Noir. So those of you who have your Pinot Noir glasses, get those ready. Can't wait to share this wine with you. This is a woe wine for its perfect elegance. It's not trying to be over the top. It is, after all, the kind of rustic cousin of Pinot Noir, you might say. So it is a little more delicate, but it is not underripe. It is not see-through. It has enough fruit for those who need it. It has textures that are freaking glorious. I can't wait to share this wine with you. Wine number 3 is kind of a segue from the wine we just told you about, because this is roughly half and half Gamay, the grape that was in the Saint-Amour, and of all things, Cabernet Franc. And that combination happens typically in only one place in the entire wine world. That's a part of the Loire Valley called Touraine. And so this is not from Touraine, Loire Valley, France. This is in fact from the Rogue Valley of Oregon. We're not going to the Willamette Valley, the better known place for Pinot Noir. We're going to the slightly warmer southerly region of Oregon called the Rogue Valley, the Rogue River Valley. And so this is 60%, I believe, in favor of Gamay, and then 40% Cabernet Franc. I've never smelled a wine like this. This was basically the inspiration for doing this event. I smelled this, said, whoa, and I thought, why don't we have a 5 red whoa event? So can't wait to do this one with you too. It's just a little bit bigger because it's New World than the wine we described before, but still quite elegant. This, if there's a whoa wine, you're all gonna say whoa to this. In fact, I wanna say whoa right now. I've already put some in my glass. Whoa, how dramatic, but really, it does. Anybody who smells this wine is just gonna say, wow, huh? And I hope it's usually a positive thing. I think for most of you, you're gonna say, I like this peppery nose. What's doing that? Well, two things, maybe three. It's got an old world attitude because it is in fact from the old world, it's from Spain. But number two, it's not from the mainland of Spain. It's from the Canary Islands. It's grown on a volcano. It's from the island of Tenerife or Tenerife. And number three, besides the volcanic part, it's made of a grape called Listan Negro. And that's a grape you don't really hear about from anywhere else, except that it is distantly related to what we know of as the mission grape, if you've heard of that. We'll elaborate on that during the events. But right now, I just want to smell this and say whoa, and taste this and say, this is a wine I will chill a little bit before the event, enjoy with that Lomo that has a nice kind of greasy bit of fat to it. And I think the two are gonna go wonderfully together. This with a slight chill, the Lomo warmed up. So they're both kind of temperature sensitive, but this wine grown on a volcano will make you say, whoa. And by the way, we bought all that was left of this. We kind of cornered the market in California and bought it especially for this event. So can't wait to do that. Finally, the last wine, the crowning achievement. Perhaps we're saving it for last because it's made of Bordeaux varieties, so it's going to be a little bit bigger. This uses all 5 of the main Bordeaux varieties. I don't believe it has any Carmenere in it. However, D2 refers to the auto route that traverses Bordeaux, Spain. Bordeaux, France. Last I heard, it's in France. There's been no recent invasions, have there? At any rate, D2 is not from France or Spain. It is, in fact, from Washington State, from a producer called DeLille. We've been carrying it every year. It heads straight to our Red Collector Wine Club virtually every year. It gets 92 or 93 or 94 points virtually every year for those who need the scores. I love this wine for its expression of flavor, for it being kind of halfway to Bordeaux in styling. In other words, it's not an over-the-top jammy fruit bomb, but it is consistently great. It's consistently ageable. And I also love to talk about Washington State whenever I can, because I think it's a wonderful alternative to what we have here. Love to support the local, but I love to branch out and try the world. And there's a wonderful world of wine up in that Northwest area. So D2 will be the final wine that we have, and certainly a wine that will last overnight. So if you don't drink the whole thing and you're worried about opening yet another bottle, don't worry about D2, it can handle it. So once again, head for our website, thewinesteward.com. For you club members who know your discount code, you can apply that to get 10% off of the 5-bottle sampler. We would love to have your order by tomorrow. That is Friday, so that in case we need to order some more wine, we could get it in here in time. But you all can start picking up your packs tomorrow. That's Friday. And we'll see you over the weekend, I'm sure, picking those up. Order the food. We can have that ready for you too anytime tomorrow or thereafter. And I just can't wait to share this with you at 6 o'clock this Tuesday. We'll invite everybody a little bit ahead of time just to make sure we've got the technical things all working out. We'll have a look at your questions and comments and see who's saying whoa whenever they're smelling or tasting something good, and share that with the group. So let's have some fun. We'll see a lot of you next Tuesday, and let's see some more of you sign up now. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.